Well,
5 3/4.
Oh, okay.
So she went 4 3. So she went 2 inches, 2 1/4 inches. That makes more sense. Okay. But then let me check and make sure your neutral here is good, because this is your root of your spine. Right there. Yep. So you're at 3.5. Okay. So she's at 3.5. So now put your arm up and put it up as far as you can. Good. So now I'm going to go to the root of her spine. Go to your spine processes. Yeah. So she's right at 5 3/4 of an inch. So she's even. So she has a 4-inch motion. You see that?
It looks hard to me, but
It's not so bad. It's not so bad.
when I'm protracted, is it still straight across?
Yes,
Okay.
it's still straight.
Okay.
So if you have to move it up so it's straight, that's okay. You just, because when you come out, your spine, your scapula is a little bit further up, so but you just make it to where it's level. Okay. So now, that's upward rotation. I mean,
What?
oh my god. That's protraction.
yeah, it's a
Thursday.
week for all of
Bless your
us.
heart.
Bless my heart, yes. So now, retraction is the same way. So hold on, so retraction, I'm gonna measure her at neutral again, like this, from the spine
Hold on,
to
can I
the
just
root
take a
of the
picture real
spine.
quick while you do it on the skeleton?
Yeah.
Please send that in the group. I will. Thank
So
you.
I'm still measuring it, I'm still checking neutral this way, okay? But this time, remember, I'm having her pinch her shoulders together, okay?
Do you do both at the same time or just
No,
one?
just one.
Okay.
Just have her bring one back. Okay, because if you brought both back, it would be hard to fill your spine's process.
Yeah.
Okay, so I already measured her in neutral, but I'm going to measure her again just so you guys can see it again. Okay, and then the root of the spine. Okay. Yes. Okay, so then we're at 3.5. Right? So we're at 3.5. So now I'm going to ask her to bring, so now I want you to take this arm and I want you to bring your elbow back like this. Yep. Okay. So now I need to find the root of the spine, which is here. And I need to find the spine's process. So you can see the spine's process, the root of the spine is right there. So she's at 1.5. You okay over there?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was my finger.
Oh, goodness gracious. So we started at 3.5.
Yeah.
And went to 1.5. So she has 2 inches of retraction. And then I would
So you're
measure her
just
other side.
subtracting the 3.5 and the 1.5 is all you're doing?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's 2 inches, right? Okay. Any questions about protraction, retraction?
Nope.
Okay. So then the next one is upward and downward rotation. Upward and downward rotation is range of motion only. We do not manual muscle test upward and downward rotation. I'm going to show you on Jean what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to have Jean face the same way so they can be cousins. So now, downward rotation is where I'm going to actually find the inferior angle of the scapula. Okay, and now you're going to take the measurement from the spinous process to the inferior angle of the scapula like this. Okay, that's what it's going to look like.
Downward rotation.
Yeah.
Okay. So just range of motion only?
I don't think I
Yep.
like being the recorder.
Okay, so Jean has 3.5 inches, and then I would measure the other side to see if she's 3.5.
And that's between the spinous process and the...
Inferior ankle.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Let's do So now, so her inferior angle of her scapula is going to be right there. Okay? So that's her spine of her scapula. My thumb is on the inferior angle. So I'm going to put that. I'm going to move your hair. Make sure that that's on the spine. Make sure I got the inferior angle right there. Okay. So that's what it looks like right there. Okay. Okay. So now she's at 5 3/4 for the inferior for neutral. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to lift your hand up over your head like this. Now, when she lifts her hand like that, her inferior angle of her scapula comes here basically in line with her armpit. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to put there. And I'm going to find her spines process, which is here. And I want to try and make it as level as possible. I want to make sure, so I always double check myself. It's not going to be perfect at one time, but you see how that's like that? That's how you do it. Okay? So then she went from 5.5 to 8. So she's at 2.5 range of motion for upward rotation. And then I would do the same thing to her other side.
Oh wait, that's upward? I thought it was downward.
No, that's upward rotation.
Is there
Remember the inferior
You said
angle
downward.
comes this way.
You told us downward.
You did.
You really
'Cause I
did.
even wrote
Did
down. I did. It's okay. I'll cross off.
It's in the
That's why I
video.
was like, that's why when I looked at the paper, I
We
see.
do have video proof.
When I looked at the paper, I was gonna say, why did he skip it?
Yeah, because you said downward, and
You
I
did
said,
say
is it
downward.
downward? And you said, yeah.
Do I need to turn the camera off for this?
I crossed it out and put.
No, you guys are correct. It is upward. I must have said
I mean,
downward.
once you did this, I kind of figured it was,
Yeah.
but originally you did say it was
Yeah.
downward.
Sorry,
It's
that is
okay.
upward rotation. So you can see, here, turn it that way. So you can see that if I put my hand on her scapula, you can see how my hand goes like this. The inferior angle of the scapula is going up. So that's upward rotation.
Okay.
Okay, so this is upward rotation. And then I would compare it to the other side for upward rotation.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Hicks.
I screwed everything up, didn't I? I am so sorry.
You
It's
just need
okay.
a
I just, man, this is
break.
just
You
like.
need the weekend, I think, more than we do.
Maybe I do. I don't know why.
This is just crazy because, like, we're used to the goniometry,
Yeah.
and like now it's the tape.
You already all in the camera.
Was I?
Yeah.
And then downward.
When I
what
did
would
that?
we do?
No.
Oh.
You was touching her back.
Going downward. You about to do downward?
Yeah.
Now you are.
Now I'm going to do true downward rotation.
Okay.
Now, upward and downward rotation, you start the same position, right? So I'm still measuring from the inferior angle to the spine's process, right? So Jean still has a 3.5. So now I'm going to do downward rotation. I'm going to measure her at neutral first, and I think I said 5.5, right?
For neutral?
3.5.
3.5.
No, it
You
was
said
5.5. I
Oh,
think.
You said 3.
He's a, I think.
Uh,
He's
let's
gonna
do
check.
it now.
or was it 3? I don't know.
It was 3 for the other one.
3 for this.
Oh.
Because you said she
you're
went from
right, you're right.
3.5 to 8, so she was 2.5 range of
No,
motion.
no, you're right. It
There's
was
no
5.5.
way. Yeah, she
Okay.
has 5.5. Oh,
Because
I'm not totally crazy. I'm just a little crazy.
the first one he did it from the top part of the scapula. This one he did it from the bottom.
So that means, so with protraction and retraction, I'm measuring from here to here. So this is going to be closer than from here to here, right?
Measure top, then bottom.
No, don't get
No.
confused. Downward rotation is only from the spine's process to the inferior angle. Okay. Then I'm going to ask her to now For downward rotation, you have to take your arm behind you and act like you're tucking in, push down as if you're tucking your shirt into your pants. Yeah, and then,
All the way down?
no, like that, and then push. Okay, so now, her inferior ankle, her scapula is here now. Okay. Right there. Right, and then here is our spinous process. So she went from 5.5 to 4, so she has 1.5 inches.
So you start
range of
neutral.
motion. Yeah.
Start neutral.
Yeah, she's gonna start normal, which she was at 5.5. So she's starting with no movement whatsoever. So she started at 5.5, and then she moved her hand here, and that's what made her go to a 4. So she's an inch. She has 1.5 inches of range of motion.
How do you feel that? Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so hard. What if you have an obese patient?
Gotta try to do the best you can.
Or can you like ask them to like move, and you know how you can feel the blade and like kind of put your hand there, and then as it moves back, glide it back over.
You can.
Because you know how when you move your shoulders, you can get like, you can feel